I want you to visualize the most dangerous room in your house. When you think of danger, you might think of the steep stairs going down to the basement, or maybe the garage with its power tools and sharp edges. But the statistics tell a different, much quieter story. The most dangerous room in your home is the one you visit first thing in the morning and last thing at night. It is the bathroom. And inside that bathroom, there is a specific object that looks innocent, feels comfortable, and adds a touch of style to your decor, but for people over the age of 60, it is essentially a bear trap waiting to snap. I am talking about the fluffy, unanchored bath rug. We need to have a very serious, practical conversation about this item because it is the #1 culprit behind the devastating event that ends the independence of thousands of seniors every year, the hip fracture. Today, we are going to dissect why this simple piece of fabric is so lethal. We are going to look at the physics of a fall, we are going to understand the terrifying reality of hip fracture recovery, and most importantly, we are going to talk about the cheap, immediate changes you can make today to turn your bathroom from a hazard zone back into a sanctuary. This is not about being paranoid, it is about being smart. It is about protecting your future and your freedom. Let's start with the morning routine. It is likely a habit you have had for decades. You wake up, perhaps a little stiff. You walk into the bathroom. The floor is tiled, ceramic or porcelain, which means it is hard, cold, and slippery. To combat that coldness, you have placed a rug right in front of the sink or the shower. It is probably a thick, plush rug. Maybe it matches your towels. It looks cozy. You step onto it to brush your teeth. It feels soft under your feet. It feels safe. But here is the problem: if that rug does not have a heavy-duty, industrial-grade rubber backing, or if that backing has worn off in the wash, that rug is acting like a skateboard on ice. As we age, our gait changes. This is a physiological fact. When we are 20, we pick our feet up high. We stride. But as we cross into our 60s and 70s, we tend to develop a shuffling gait. We don't lift our feet quite as high off the ground. We slide our feet forward more. This is natural. It is the body's way of trying to maintain balance by keeping the center of gravity low. However, this shuffling gait is exactly why the fluffy rug is a killer. When you shuffle your foot forward, the toe of your slipper or your bare foot can easily catch the high, thick edge of a plush rug. In that split second, two things can happen, and both of them are disastrous. Scenario 1, your toe catches the lip of the rug. Because your momentum is moving forward, but your foot has stopped, your upper body continues to travel. You trip. Scenario 2, which is even more common in bathrooms, you step onto the rug, and because there is no friction between the cotton underside of the rug and the smooth tile of the floor, the rug simply shoots out from under you. It slides away as if it were on wheels. Your feet go one way, your head goes the other, and gravity does the rest. The result is almost always a hard impact on the side of the body, directly onto the hip joint. The bathroom is a small space. When you fall in a living room, you might hit a carpet. When you fall in a bathroom, you hit porcelain, metal, or hard tile. There is no cushion. The energy of that fall shatters the femur, the thigh bone, usually right near the hip socket. This is what we call a hip fracture. I want to pause here and explain why we are so focused on avoiding this specific injury. You might think, well, if I break a bone, I will get a cast and I will heal. But a hip fracture in your 60s, 70s, or 80s is not like breaking your arm when you were a kid. It is a life-altering systemic event. The statistics are sobering, and I share them not to scare you, but to motivate you. Within 1 year of a hip fracture, a significant percentage of seniors lose their ability to live independently. They move from their own home to a nursing facility and never go back. The mortality rate, the death rate, in the year following a hip fracture is surprisingly high, not just from the break itself, but from the complications of surgery, the pneumonia from lying in bed, the blood clots, and the infection. A hip fracture is often the first domino in a line that leads to a rapid decline in health. And to think, This entire cascade of tragedy can be started by a $15 bath mat that didn't have a rubber bottom. Let's analyze the villain of our story, the fluffy rug. Why do we love them? Because they represent comfort. We want our homes to feel luxurious. We see them in magazines. We receive them as gifts from our children. Here, Mom, a nice set for the bath. We keep them because they are pretty. But beauty in the bathroom is dangerous. The fluffier the rug, the higher the trip hazard. If a rug is an inch thick, that is an inch of vertical obstacle your tired foot has to clear every single time you walk past it. If you are rushing to the toilet in the middle of the night, which is when many falls happen, you are groggy, the lights are dim, and your spatial awareness is low. That beautiful, fluffy rug is now an invisible wall waiting to trip you. There is also the issue of maintenance. We wash these rugs. We put them in the washing machine and the dryer. Over time, even if the rug started with a rubber backing, the heat of the dryer destroys it. The rubber cracks, crumbles, and peels off. You might not notice it. You take it out of the dryer, it looks clean, and you throw it back on the floor. But now, it has lost its grip. It is just a piece of cloth sitting on a slick surface. It is a trap you set for yourself. So, what is the solution? Is the solution to have a cold, wet floor? Absolutely not. Water on tile is also a hazard. We need a middle ground. We need function over fluff. The first thing I want you to do when this video is over, or even right now, is to go into your bathroom and perform the kick test. Stand next to your rug. Use your foot and give it a little nudge. Does it move easily? Does it slide across the tiles with barely any effort? If the answer is yes, that rug is a danger to your life. It needs to go. Immediately. Do not donate it to another senior. Throw it away or use it as a dog bed in the garage. It does not belong in the bathroom. You need to replace it with a non-slip, low-profile mat. You want something that is heavy, thin, and rubberized. When you go to the store, do not look at the top of the rug, look at the bottom. You want a solid sheet of rubber that grips the floor like a suction cup. You want a rug that, when you try to kick it, it doesn't budge. It should fight back. Furthermore, look for low pile or no pile. You want the transition from the tile to the rug to be seamless. You don't want a step up. You want a surface that your foot can glide over without catching. There is an even cheaper solution if you absolutely love your current rug and refuse to part with it. Double-sided carpet tape or rug grippers. You can buy these at any hardware store for a few dollars. These are sticky pads that you adhere to the corners of your rug and then stick to the floor. They anchor the rug down. However, I must warn you, these make cleaning harder, and if they lose their stickiness over time due to bathroom humidity, they give you a false sense of security. The safest option is always a mat designed specifically for safety, often found in medical supply stores rather than luxury bedding stores. Let's expand the scope of the bathroom habit to include how we interact with the space generally. The rug is the primary tripping hazard, but it works in conjunction with other bad habits. One of the worst habits is using the towel bar as a grab bar. We have all done it. You step out of the shower, you are a little off balance, and you reach out to steady yourself. You grab the metal bar holding your towel. It feels sturdy. But it is not. It is held into the drywall with two tiny screws. It is designed to hold a pound of cotton, not 150 or 200 pounds of human weight. If you slip on that fluffy rug and grab the towel bar, the bar will rip right out of the wall. Now you are falling. And you are also being hit by a metal bar. If you are over 60, you need to swallow your pride and install real grab bars. I know, people hate them. They think it makes the house look like a hospital. They think it signals, I am old. Get over that thought. A broken hip signals old much more than a grab bar does. Modern grab bars are beautiful. They come in chrome, brushed nickel, bronze. They can look like designer hardware. But they are anchored into the studs of the wall. They can hold your weight. Having a solid anchor to hold onto while you navigate the transition from the rug to the tub is essential. Another habit linked to the rug is the wet feet walk. You step out of the shower, maybe onto a rug that is too small, and then you walk across the tiles with wet feet to get your hairbrush or your clothes. Water acts as a lubricant. It eliminates friction. If you step off a rug onto a wet tile, it is like stepping onto an oil slick. The habit you must build is to dry your feet completely inside the shower or while standing firmly on a non-slip mat before you take a single step onto the tile. Sit down to dry your feet if you have to. There is no rush. Rushing is the enemy of safety. Let's talk about the visual environment. As we age, our eyes need more light to see contrast. A fluffy beige rug on a beige tile floor is invisible to a 70-year-old eye, especially at night. You can't see where the rug begins and the floor ends. This makes tripping much more likely. This is called contrast sensitivity. A safety habit you can adopt is to use a rug that contrasts with your floor. If you have white tiles, get a navy blue or dark gray mat. Make the obstacle visible. Your brain needs that visual cue to tell your feet, lift up, there is a change in texture here. Also, consider the size of the rug. Small, postage stamp-sized rugs are just little islands of danger. They move easily. If you must have a rug, a larger runner that is anchored by the weight of the toilet or a cabinet, or simply covers more surface area, is often safer because it is heavier and less likely to slide. But again, only if the edges are flat. Curling corners on old rugs are another major trip hazard. If the corner of your rug is curling up, it is not a quirk of the rug, it is a trip wire. Tape it down or throw it out. I want to address the psychological resistance again because this is usually what stops people from making changes. We often think, I've lived in this house for 30 years and I've never fallen. I know where everything is. This is called normalcy bias. We assume that because something hasn't happened yet, it won't happen. But aging is progressive. Your balance today is not your balance of 10 years ago. Your reaction time is different. The house hasn't changed, but you have. You have to adapt the house to fit your current reality, not the reality of the person you were in 1990. Think about the financial trade-off. A high-quality, medical-grade, non-slip, ugly but safe rubber mat costs maybe $30. A hip replacement surgery, the hospital stay, the physical therapy, the modifications to your home afterwards, like building ramps, and the in-home care can cost tens of thousands of dollars, even with insurance. It can deplete your savings. It puts a burden on your children or your spouse. Is the fluffy rug really worth that risk? Is the aesthetic of a bathroom worth your retirement fund? When you frame it that way, the decision becomes very clear. There is also a concept called fear of falling. Once a senior has a near miss, maybe you slipped on that rug but caught yourself on the sink, a psychological change happens. You become afraid. When you are afraid, you move differently. You become stiff. You stop going out as much. You become sedentary. When you stop moving, your muscles weaken. When your muscles weaken, your balance gets worse. And when your balance gets worse, you are more likely to fall. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy. By removing the hazards like the slippery rug, you are not just preventing a fall, you are removing the fear of the fall. You are creating an environment where you can move with confidence. Confidence keeps you active. And activity keeps you young. Let's walk through a safe bathroom makeover that you can do this weekend. Step 1, the purge. Remove all loose, fluffy, unbacked rugs. Just get them out. Step 2, the clean. Scrub the floor to remove any soap scum or hairspray residue that makes tiles slippery. Step 3, the replacement. Install non-slip mats that are thin and have a high contrast color. Step 4, the lighting. Put a motion sensor night light in the bathroom. When you walk in at 3 a.m., the light should come on automatically. You should never be navigating around rugs in the dark. Step 5. The supports. Check your towel bars. If you find yourself using them for balance, schedule a handyman to come and install a grab bar in that exact spot. Your instinct is telling you where you need support, listen to it. I also want to mention the toilet. Getting up and down from the toilet is another high-risk moment for falls. If your legs are weak, you might plop down or struggle to stand up, shuffling your feet to get traction. If there is a loose rug in front of the toilet, your shuffling feet will slide it away, and down you go. A raised toilet seat or a toilet safety frame, rails that go around the toilet, can provide the stability you need so you aren't relying on your feet gripping a rug. Let's talk about footwear. The bathroom habit isn't just about the rug, it's about what you wear on the rug. Do you wear loose, floppy slippers? Or worse, just socks? Socks on tile are a recipe for disaster. Socks on a fluffy rug on tile are even worse. The safest way to navigate your bathroom is either bare feet, if you have good sensation, or non-slip house shoes that have a back to them. No scuffs, no slides. You want a shoe that stays on your foot. If you get up in the night, take the 10 seconds to put on your grippy slippers before you walk into the tiled bathroom. I want to share a story, a composite of many stories I have heard. Let's call her Linda. Linda was 72. She was active, she drove, she gardened. She had a beautiful bathroom with a thick, peach-colored rug set she got for her anniversary. One evening, she stepped out of the bath. She felt great. She reached for her towel. Her foot landed on the edge of the peach rug. The rug slid 6 inches. That was all it took. Linda went down. She hit her hip on the edge of the tub. She lay on the floor for 3 hours until her daughter called. Linda survived, but she spent 3 months in rehab. She missed her grandson's graduation. She had to sell her house because she couldn't manage the stairs anymore. She told me later, "I hated that rug. I almost threw it out a month before because it was hard to vacuum. I wish I had." Don't be Linda. Be the person who takes control before the accident. Be the person who values their legs more than their linens. This is also a conversation to have with your adult children. They often worry about you, but they don't know what to do. They might buy you gifts that aren't practical. Tell them, "I am making my house fall-proof. I am getting rid of the throw rugs." They will be relieved. They might even help you do it. It shows them that you are being responsible and realistic, which is the best way to prove to them that you can keep living alone. If you are renting, you might feel limited in what you can do. You can't install grab bars without permission. But you can change the rugs. You can control the lighting. You can use a shower chair. A shower chair is a wonderful invention. It allows you to sit while you wash, taking the balance issue out of the equation entirely. If you feel even a little bit wobbly in the shower, get a chair. It's not a defeat, it's a strategy. Let's zoom out for a moment and look at the timeline of a fall. A fall takes less than 1 second. In that 1 second, your brain tries to calculate a correction. It sends a signal to your leg muscles to step out and catch you. But if the surface under your foot, the rug, is moving, the calculation fails. The brain cannot predict the motion of a sliding rug. It is unpredictable chaos. By removing the rug, you are giving your brain a stable, predictable surface. You are giving your reflexes a fighting chance. I want you to think about your hips. The hip joint is the pivot point of your body. It connects the upper and lower body. It bears the weight of your torso. When you break it, you are immobilizing the center of the machine. The recovery is painful because you cannot move without engaging that joint. Every time you cough, shift in bed, or try to sit up, you feel it. Avoiding this pain should be your #1 priority. And the easiest way to avoid it is to clear the floor. Some of you might be thinking, but the floor is cold. I get it. Cold floors are unpleasant. But there are safe ways to warm them. You can wear warm, non-slip socks. You can install a small space heater, safely, away from water, to warm the room air. You can even, if you are renovating, install radiant floor heating. But risking a hip fracture for the sake of warm toes for 3 minutes in the morning is a bad deal. It is a terrible exchange rate. Let's review the checklist for the anti-fall bathroom. Floor, clear of obstacles. No loose rugs. Only rubber-backed, flat mats. Walls, grab bars anchored in studs, not suction cups, not towel racks. Lighting, bright, automatic, covering all corners. Feet, non-slip footwear or bare feet, never just socks. Attitude, awareness. Slowing down. Accepting that safety is more beautiful than decor. You have worked hard your whole life. You have raised families, built careers, and saved for your retirement. You deserve to enjoy these years. You deserve to walk around your garden, to travel, to play with your grandchildren. You do not deserve to spend 6 months in a hospital bed staring at the ceiling because of a $20 rug. It is a simple fix. It requires no doctor's appointment, no prescription, and very little money. It just requires a decision. A decision to prioritize the function of your home over the form. A decision to admit that gravity is real and that we need to respect it. Take a look at your bathroom today with new eyes. Pretend you are a safety inspector. Look for the traps. That fluffy rug might look like a cloud, but if it slides, it is a cliff. Roll it up. Get it out. Put down something solid. Your future self will thank you. Your hips will thank you. And your family, who wants you around and healthy for a long time to come, will thank you. Be safe, be smart, and take that first step towards a fall-free home today. Thank you for listening.